Um, so I'm gonna try another different type of video. I previously did one where I read a story I wrote in high school. This will be a different kind of unscripted video. This time, it's more of a reaction video. So, like when I was a child, I loved dinosaurs and monsters and cryptids and all of the, normal sort of things that kids love. There was one exception though. As a small child, and actually even still to this day, there's one creature that just seeing the image of this thing is something that I find creepy though. And what the thing is the traditional gray alien. That thing is what creeps me out. And in the late 80s and early 90s, there was sort of this revival of that particular type of alien. So you were seeing a lot of these pop up in pop culture. Probably because of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where the sort of wispy aliens at the end had that sort of general look to them, which I found creepy, but they weren't as creepy as these other ones for some reason. Probably because I didn't see Close Encounters of the Third Kind until I was in high school, at least as far as I can remember. I don't really know why I've always found them sort of creepy or terrifying or whatever. I don't... As a child, obviously, I believed in aliens and all of these cryptids and thought, oh, they're real and all of these sightings are 100% and all of that. As an adult, I understand that's not the case. I believe in the possible existence of intelligent life on planets other than our own, because the universe is vast and there are many, many galaxies and planets, etc. So it's very likely that there's at least one other intelligent life species out there. We're just probably never going to know about them for sure because the universe is just so vast. So my reaction to these gray aliens isn't based on a belief in them, at least not as an adult. As a child, I thought they were creepy because I thought they could be real. But finding them creepy is something that has carried on through my adult years. As a child, if I saw the book Communion at a Walden Books, for some reason it was always prominently displayed there, along with others that talked about alien abductions and other things, and the gray alien was the thing that they always slapped on the cover, just giant image of this alien's face. When I saw those, I would run and find my parents or at least quickly pass that section to go to whatever I was actually looking for. Usually I was looking for a horror novel, and unfortunately horror and sci-fi were close together, so I came across these images a lot. But like I said, in pop culture, there was sort of a revival of these things in the late 80s, early 90s, that imagery being used. And in particular, in film. The two that specifically always frightened me as a child, just seeing the trailers and the posters and the promo materials for them, because they were everywhere when these films were out, were Communion and Fire in the Sky. I don't really remember when they came out. I just remember the posters being everywhere, the novelizations being everywhere, and seeing the trailers on TV. And even though they were obviously just trailers and edited for TV, they still contained scenes that, to me as a child, were terrifying. So I would turn the TV off, change the channel, leave the room, whatever, whenever they came on. Just as an aside, another one that was in the video stores at the time was Wavelength, which was a film. This box art also scared me a lot as a child, and when I came across it in the video store, I would hurriedly try and look at something else. So I never watched it as a child, but a couple of years ago I sat down and I actually got myself a VHS copy off eBay and watched the movie. And much to my surprise, actually a really good movie. I wish there was a Blu-ray release of this. I would own it because I actually liked it, not just because of this weird nostalgia for things that scared me as a child. So what this video today is going to be is I'm going to sit down and finally watch Communion and Fire in the Sky, two films I've completely avoided despite loving sci-fi and horror, just because they prominently feature the gray alien, and I've always been terrified of them. So I'm going to watch these movies today back to back. As you can see, it's daylight, so not too scary there, but I am technically home alone, so got nobody to run to if I get scared. So, yeah, that's the intent of this video. I'm going to watch two movies that I was too scared to watch when I was little. And that's it. Let's go. So I'm watching Communion on Vudu, and there's commercial breaks, so it's naturally interrupting the flow of the movie, which is lame, but if you want to watch something for free, that's what happens a lot of the times. So anyway, 30 minutes into this Communion, and the first interaction with the aliens has occurred. There's a brief shot where a little gray alien peeks from behind a door, and that was still legitimately very creepy to me. However, the rest of the movie is just so weird and a little off that I'm entertained by that aspect to it, and the acting seems a bit improvised, mostly from Christopher Walken, and I don't know if that's like a choice or if that's just how he's choosing to perform actual written dialogue, but it feels improv. The child actor isn't great, but he's a child, that's not his fault. Just the overall tone in the movie is really weird. So I guess Christopher Walken is playing Whitley Strieber, who is the author of the book, and also the author of the book Wolfen, which was also made into a movie, both of which I think were very successful. And so in this movie, Christopher Walken is playing Mr. Strieber, and it seems like he's playing him, or this takes place while he's writing Wolfen. There's a lot of wolf references in the film. I don't know if that's going to tie in later in like some way, but that's what's going on. The first communion has happened. That scene was, like I said, there's a little creepy when the first gray popped up, but then the rest of it was just kind of weird. But the filmmaking for it was kind of cool. I think that's all I have to say about it while I'm in the movie right now. I guess I'll unpause it and finish these commercials and then watch the rest of the movie. What a profoundly stupid movie. So I just finished Communion, and yeah, that's my takeaway. What a stupid movie. So that first scene when the aliens show up and they peek from beside the door, that was creepy. The rest of that abduction scene was a little creepy. It was a little silly, a little weird. But then as the movie goes on, it gets weirder and stupider. A lot of the acting choices, I wasn't really sure on why they were made. Like, the wife does a really good job for most of the film. But then there's just the one hypnosis scene where she's just overacting in such a bizarre way that doesn't fit within the universe of the film. And then it gets close to the end, and there's a dance party on the spaceship with the aliens. So that was stupid. Also, I noticed that the spaceship
room that the abduction scenes take place in appeared to have like brick walls, which I guess you can build your spaceship however you want. Just seems like not a good choice. There's several scenes where Christopher Walken and the woman who plays his wife have arguments, but the arguments are always instigated by something mundane and not argument worthy, which I guess is authentic to a marriage, but for story purposes doesn't make a lot of sense. Like there's one scene where he says he's scared of a cloud, and then she goes off on him about how he shouldn't be scared of a cloud because he has a family and stuff. It's weird. It's stupid. The reason I'm watching this, obviously, is because I was afraid to watch it as a child because of the image of the gray alien. And as far as that specifically goes, about midway through the film, I was pretty desensitized to it, at least their depiction of it. I think part of that is because they're just so clearly puppets, probably on strings or sticks, depending on the shot. And it just kind of takes you out of the film, and it just looks silly. Like, yeah, the first time they popped up, that was creepy for me, but as the film went on, it just got I was just desensitized to it. And then I didn't realize, because obviously I've never seen the film and I certainly have never read the book, that there's two types of aliens on this one spaceship for some reason. And the other type of alien is just they're like fat Jawas, but you can see their faces, more like the creatures in Phantasm, just fatter and all blue for some reason. I believe the book was supposed to be based on his own experiences in real life. I could be wrong about that, and I don't care enough to verify it. If that's the case, it's an odd... I guess I can't say it's a choice if it's something he believes he really did experience, but it's an odd choice for the filmmakers, I guess. I'll go with that. And then the last thing that was just stupid about the movie is towards the end, Christopher Walken's character, Whitley, the author of the story, goes to a support group for abductees, alien abductees, and they start asking him his story, and he refuses to talk to them, and then laughs at them when they tell their stories, even though they all have the same story, which you would think would make somebody open up and accept what was going on and that sort of thing. But he just keeps laughing, and then his wife is like, I think I want to go now. And so they get up and leave, and then he just tells the doctor he doesn't want to be crazy. And none of it plays like real human being reactions. It just seems odd, a lot of the choices. And then, of course, the alien dance party at the end was stupid. It's just a stupid movie. So, next I'm going to watch Fire in the Sky. Before I start that, something I thought of and forgot to mention in the intro, one of the formative things that really cemented me as a child being afraid of the gray alien image wasn't like what the people who believe in these things would say is, oh, well, you were abducted and it's just a memory of the experience that is in your head and it was terrible and so that's why you're afraid of them. It wasn't that, because that's not real. I remember vividly watching TV at my grandparents' house, and there was a commercial that came on. Back in the late 80s, early 90s and on, it was common for there to be infomercials for VHS tapes, usually some sort of documentary or something for kids, or maybe something about the Bible or things like that. There were certain VHS tapes that were advertised as like, you could only get them through this commercial offer kind of thing. So there was this one that I remember seeing, and I've never been able to find any evidence of its existence. I don't know what the actual film was called. Pretty sure it was meant to be like a documentary where people were talking about their experiences with witnessing aliens or abductions and things of that nature. But there's a shot in this commercial, in my memory, which may or may not exist, but this is how I remember it, where a person is holding a camcorder, so you're seeing their POV basically, and they walk into a bathroom and you can see their child is in a bathtub playing, and there's a shower curtain that's pulled partway across the tub, so it's hiding the right-hand side, or it'd be left-hand side. It's hiding the left-hand side, not that it matters. And as the camera walks in, you can see behind the curtain, and the child is in the tub with a gray alien, and they're like playing or something like that, and then it cuts to something else, which is a really weird thing, and I honestly have no idea if I really saw this thing, if it was like maybe a bit on SNL or some sort of show where they're just making fun of it, and I just remember it as being like a serious thing. But it is something that is like haunted the back of my mind ever since I saw it. One time I did go online and try to track down like an infomercial or something just to try and find that clip or the commercial it was in, and I can't find anything. So if anybody else remembers that clip, please comment. I'd be curious to see this thing, to see what it really was. Pretty sure it was just like one of those cheap documentaries, and they like probably faked some footage, Faces of Death style, and then mixed it in with like shaky UFO footage or whatever. So, but that's a thing that sticks in my head and has always been an unpleasant, creepy memory related to what I'm doing right now. So, anyway, I'm going to start Fire in the Sky now. I expect that this will be the better of the two films. This is the one that I know other people have said is just scary as a horror film, not necessarily for the reasons I, as a child, was afraid of it, but just as people who watch movies and find them interesting. I expect this will be the better of the two. So I guess I'll find out. So I just had to stop the movie so I could go get the mail. I'm about halfway through it now. So far, the entire thing has basically been like a mystery film. So not creepy at all. There's been some really cool shots in the film. There's two shots at the beginning where the lighting implies that there's a spaceship around, and then it reveals that no, it's actually the truck coming over the hill, or the crossing guard coming down at a railroad stop, which I thought was really cool. Other than that, there's been nothing creepy. It's just been kind of a mystery film. Really well made. A good cast that I didn't know was in here. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Guess I'll finish it and see how the rest of it goes. Alright, so I just finished Fire in the Sky, and like I said a moment ago, it's a good movie. I like that a lot better than Communion. It's well made, and the acting was good. The cinematography was really cool in a lot of places. The scenes where he's actually on the spaceship were really well done, and the big thing, obviously, for this video, the aliens looked really good and were not at all creepy. I thought it was interesting that they chose to make the traditional gray alien look is just a spacesuit in this movie. It's not actually what the aliens look like. So they only show that briefly and didn't really have an effect on me. I don't know if that's because I'm now desensitized because of the silly stick puppets from Communion, or It was just the way it was shot or something. It just didn't register in my brain as being disturbing like it previously has. Overall, just a good movie. I might buy the Blu-ray when that comes out, I think next month or whatever. But otherwise, it's good. So, what was the point of all of this? I don't know. I just thought it would be fun to sit down and watch a couple of movies that I had never watched because as a child I was afraid of them. There's not really a larger message to get out of this video. That's it. That was my experience watching two movies that scared me as a child. I guess if you like this sort of video where somebody confronts a fear that they've had through childhood, if you want, you can check out. My sister has a YouTube channel as well, and she does videos on that sort of theme. Hers are much shorter than mine, and feature more interesting locations. So, I guess check that out. Otherwise, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching me comment on some old movies. Bye. And I guess you could click on that. Or that. Whatever.